back to Diary Bookaholic. My name is Dorothy and today we have March's reading thoughts. Now I haven't finished books that I was physically reading. I think the only thing I finished this week is Chainsaw Man Volume 3, Kill Dingy. I gave this back 4 stars, but go back, last week I finished a starter short story by Lisa Price. I gave that 3 stars. It was okay. It didn't really add anything to that series. It was just kind of a side point of view of something that's happened in the series. So it really didn't add anything to the overall story. Chainsaw Man Volume 3, I enjoy it. The artwork is nice. I still am annoyed that our main protagonist, the Chainsaw Man himself, is very motivated by sex. But I'm looking over that. Other stuff going on is kind of interesting, so keeping me intrigued, but that's neither here nor there. So currently I'm in the middle of, for ebook, Blood Mercy, which I'm on page 435, 59%. It's starting to get more interesting because it's starting to get more into the romance side of things and less on the political side. I think that's my problem with some more epic fantasy. There's sometimes political stuff going on. I don't really care for the political stuff. I more want to know what is going on with our main character. I don't give a damn about her father, the king. He can die for all I care. But finding out more about our main character and 2 main characters is very interesting. So, and then I'm also still reading The Unbalanced Equation. This is getting interesting the more and more I get into it. So far, we've found out Tom and Liz in the very beginning kind of had a flirty thing. Then found out Tom was going to be her PhD advisor. And then after all of that, we don't see them going through the PhD, but we do see afterwards where she's in her post-grad work. And we've had some strange circumstances going up to this point, and it's getting interesting because it just seems like they can't get away from each other no matter what they do. So for ebook, still listening to Empire Storm by Sarah J. Maas. I'm on I'm on chapter 47. So still got a bit of way to go, but hopefully this week I can finish it. So we'll see about that. I've been wanting to listen more to audiobooks this week. Now for physical reading, I have started more of the Irish fairy and folk tales. I'm only on page 17. I'm still in the first story. I got to chapter 5 of that. I've been reading a little bit each day. It's only the 3rd day of March, so not much there. I've also been reading Christmas at Timberwood by Fern Mitchells. I'm on page 96, almost done with the chapter. I read a little bit before work, but I haven't had time to read since I've been home. But so far, it's getting interesting. It's just, there's something about it that is not fully holding my attention. But so far, what we have kind of like a hodgepodge of characters. We have one girl, Angela, who has premonition, and she goes to warn the security at the mall, and they don't believe her at first, and then they're like getting bomb threats. You see from different security people and people who works at the mall. You also see a point of view from the person who's going to destroy the mall, basically, and everything. And it's just a little all over the place what's going on because you're seeing from multiple POVs and they kind of all sound the same. You even have a little bit of Angela's mom, who I will say is very self-centered. Enough on that. My thoughts are all over for that book, if you can't tell the description. Tuna Sworn by KJ Sutton. I'm still reading. I'm on page 120. I was supposed to read this yesterday and I kind of didn't read anything yesterday but listened to an audiobook instead. So I listened to my audiobook instead. It's not a bad thing, it's just I didn't read like I wanted to. And with that said, I am enjoying this. So far where we're at, she's in the Sorelli court and everything. She's got herself in trouble while there and got punished for it. So we're after that and her kind of getting reintroduced to the Fae world, the court and everything properly this time. With that said, that's all I have for. I'll see you maybe in a week, if not before, with another update. So see you then. guys, here with another update for my March reading thoughts. First off, my background, my bookshelves will be changing a lot within the next few weeks because I'm already starting to get this room prepped to paint, and I'm also getting new shelves for this wall, so stuff will be shifted around a little bit and stuff, and I might even, when I get this room put back together, reorganize my books in a certain way. I haven't thought that through all the way. So things will be changing a little bit in the next few weeks. But with that said, you're here for the books, not chaos that is my library. I did finish 2 books this week. First I finished Empire's Storm by Sarah J. Maas. This I'll probably give 4.5, somewhere around there. I did enjoy it. I did take this a little slower than I have the other ones, but it was really good. It was very action-packed. A lot was going on. A lot of character growth as well. And again, that ending has me wanting the next book. And I do have it. Pick it up if I want to at any point in time. But that said, that's what I have on this one. Then I finished this One Piece. It's volumes 4, 5, and 6. But 4 I had already read. I read 5 and 6. Finished reading 5 and 6 this week. I read most of it over the weekend. And here we meet Usopp, and we have a fight against the Black Cat Pirates and sail off and go find the restaurant. And we meet Sanji. It's good seeing this, and this is the enemy is very true to this. I know sometimes when they go transfer stuff, they change things sometimes, but this is really spot on, pretty much. And again, this is probably going to be a 5-star read because I'm just in love with One Piece and the adventure it takes on. Their very fast-paced read. Got each volume read within like a day if I really was wanting to. So with that said, that's going to be 5 stars. That's all I finished this week. Now, what I've been reading this week. Audiobook, after I finished Empire Storm, I picked up A Magic Steeped in Poison by Judy Eilen. I'm about 71% into it. I don't know where that's at exactly. I have to look on my Libby app because I got it through Libby. It's an audio, so I've been listening to that. And I'm finding this story really interesting. Hopefully the sequel is just as good. This is a story basically about a girl who's lost her mother, and her mother was big with the a tea ceremony thing. It's very into that, serving teas and like healing with teas. And her daughter's trying to follow in her footsteps, and whatnot. And she knows her mom, well, I don't want to give any spoilers for this, but she's following in her mom's footsteps and is learning about the teas and stuff, and she's in this competition for them, and she's trying to survive because someone's out to get her. With that said, I'm pretty far into, like I said, I'm 71% into this, so I'll probably finish it either today or sometime this weekend, because I'll be working in the library a lot in the coming weeks, so there's probably a lot of audiobook listening going on. So with that said, I also been for ebooks reading Blood Mercy, the first in the Blood Grace series by Vila Roth. I'm about 63% of the way through that. So, and I'm starting to really get into the story. I know it's bad that it's 63%. I'm just now kind of getting into it, but a lot of world building is in that first half. A lot of political stuff is in that first half. Now, I will say it's starting to get more spice to it now. That has nothing to do with my enjoyment at all. But it's interesting to see between both of our main characters' POV, Leo and Cassia's point of views and what's going on around them. As well as I've been reading The Unbalanced Equation, which is complete opposite. It's like a rom-com. So far, I'm only 24% of the way through this one. We have our main characters, Tom and Liz, and they met at a party when she was just starting her PhD. Fast forward a little bit, he becomes her advisor during her PhD. So he becomes addicted to her, and then of all circumstances, Tom and Liz ends up kind of working next to each other. Not so much with each other, they're working on separate things, but they're in the same environment. And on top of that, Liz's dad and Tom's mom are getting married. So it's going to be an interesting dynamic of what goes on in this book. And I'm interested to see what's going on. So those are my ebook. For physical books, I've been reading a little bit of Irish fairy tale and folk tales by James Steffens. I'm only on page 36. I did finish the first story. It was kind of like a person who's lived multiple lives as different creatures and seen points of view from different creatures and whatnot. This next one is more about kind of mischievous kid child and whatnot, so they're interesting reads. I'll probably give this like a 4 stars if I really think about it, because they're interesting, and this is going to be hard for me to actually rate because I can't just, it's hard to explain my mindset here. This is tales and fairy tales of someone's culture, so it's interesting to read, and I'm finding it very interesting, even though I'm taking it little by little. But with that said, that's all I got in this one. I have read a little bit more in Fortuna's Sworn. This is taking me longer than I thought it would, but hopefully I can finish it sooner within this month. And I think it's because I just keep getting distracted by other things. Like I have my library to do. I have everything to do, and by the time I sit down to read, I'm tired and falling asleep while reading, so I'm only getting 4 to 10 pages sometimes. Currently I'm on 136. Where I'm at in the book, she has been introduced to the Ancillary Court as the king's mate, and she's kind of went on a rampage with her ability and people with these fae, because she doesn't agree with what they're doing, and she just ran back into her brother. See where it takes us from there. I also have been reading Christmas at Timberwood. I'm on page 112. This, where I'm at, is they're still trying to prevent the mall from blowing up, so we'll see where it goes from there. When I sit down and read, I can read a good bit of it at a time. It's just, I don't think I'm in the mood for this, and that's a problem, because I just want to get it finished, but I might put it down again and figure something else out. Or I might just force myself to read it like I always do. And then I started, since I finished One Piece, and I was reading that before bed, a few pages here and there before bed, I picked up Leches and Lattes by Travis Baldrine. I'm only 12 pages into it, but I'm already kind of getting the hype about it, and I'm getting sucked into the story already, and it gives me D&D vibes of which, if you know anything about me, I love D&D. With that said, that's all I've read, and I'm currently reading this week and into the weekend, so I'll see you next week, next Friday, with another update. Bye. Well, told you guys things would be changing in here. I'm in the middle of construction in this room. This is the only room I have to film in, so if you hear an echo, that's because it's pretty much empty in here. There's nothing in here. The dresser, the chair, and then what's in the closet. Hopefully this weekend I can get this room painted. I have to paint the walls and the trim. I have bookshelves coming for this wall, which I'll probably be filming in front of, and figure out other things too. But that said, what have I been reading? I've been listening to quite a bit of audiobook. I did a lot of audiobook listening last weekend when I was pulling everything out of here. Last weekend I did finish A Magic Steeped in Poison, book 1 in the Book of Tea series by Judy I. Klune. I gave this 4 stars. It was really interesting. I'm hoping the sequels is good. And it was really good as an audiobook as well. It's very, I want to say Asian because I'm not exactly sure what region in Asia, but it's very Asian inspired, and it deals with like tea, different teas and stuff. There's this poison that's been put in teas, and the tea experts can't even pick it up or tell. So figuring out who caused that, what did it, and like how to get everything. Our main characters on the run by the end. After this, I listened to Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson. Gave this 4 stars. This can be very triggering for people who's been gaslighted, self-harm even, sexual abuse, domestic violence, kidnapping. That's just what is on top of my head. And there is a content warning in the beginning of the audiobook. And I gave this 4 stars. This one is really hard to summarize. Our main character is someone who wants to become a singer, get in the music industry, and she runs into this singer who's promised to help her get to what she wants. And she falls in love with him, and he's saying he loves her, and all this manipulation. All meanwhile, she's under 18, so depending on state you're in, that's a little iffy territory if you ask me. But some of the things he says and does to her, if it was me, I would have just walked away. But I know it's not that easy sometimes to walk away. Then I finished The Gift. I gave this 3 stars. I don't even remember what it was about, honestly. It was just a quick audiobook to listen to. Currently, I'm listening to Pretty Little Liars Book 4. Unbelievable. I'm 41% of the way through. Where I'm at is after Hannah's gotten run over. She's in the hospital and had some weird dreams and stuff and different things going on with each of the girls. Still trying to figure out who killed Allie and what's going on there. Now, I will say I have seen the TV show. This is just, like I said before, like a popcorn read, where it's just something to read, something to keep my mind and I don't have to really focus on reading, so if I'm painting or whatever, I don't have to be fully invested in this story. So, with that said, so far it's an okay read. Some of the things these kids are doing, though, is unbelievable. The way they act, how they act, kind of almost more mature than they're supposed to be. Like, they are the standards for them are set so high that it's like these parents realize they're still kids and whatnot. So those are audiobooks. Ebooks, I'm still reading the same 2 as last week. The Unbalanced Equation, which I'm 29% of the way through on this one. And then Blood Mercy, which I'm 69% of the way through. So on page 505, 742. Both of them are interesting in different capacity. The Unbalanced Equation, it's kind of getting interesting to see the dynamic between our 2 main characters, Tom and Liz, and everything that's going on between the 2. This will be interesting to see how they get together, since they are not so much complete opposite. They are similar in like what they want out of life. They don't want kids, they don't want to get married, they just want to find someone to have a life with and not really worried about the paperwork or having kids. Blood Mercy is getting a little more on the steamier side, and it's getting interesting. It's less about politics and the king and whatnot, and it's more about the relationship between Leo and Cassia. And it's going to be interesting to figure out, because Cassia, a couple chapters ago, got threatened by one of her pursuers for her hand in marriage that he was going to rape her. And she's kind of got her last say in it, the matters. But with that said, for physical books, I'm in the middle 4. I'm still reading Fortuna Sworn. I am on page 236. I'm enjoying this. We're going through the trials of her to become queen, and kind of a little more steamier scene that happened between her and the king of the Sealy Court. But it's interesting. I have less than 100 pages, so hopefully this weekend I can finish it. Hopefully I can finish this weekend. This, I don't even know if I picked up this week at all. I can't even tell you if I read anything this week. I'm probably going to put this down for a while. Maybe next month I'll pick it back up. It just isn't what I'm in the mood for. I have read a little bit more of Legends of Latte. I'm on page 20. So hopefully I can get more of this read after I finish Fortuna Sworn. I have been reading a chapter a day or so. I haven't read my chapter for today, but on page 54, I'm on the second story, The Boyhood of Fung. And it's just talking about a kid and how he grew up and stuff and different things. I think I have a few more chapters on this. Sorry about that. I don't know where it cut me off exactly, but I've read a little bit of this. Not much to say about it. So with that said, that's all I have for this update. Hopefully next week we'll have more finished books in it that weren't just audiobooks. I'll have some physical books finished. That's it. See you in the next update. Hello guys. Here with another update for this video. I finished Fortuna Sworn. I'm giving this a 4-star. It's not a new favorite, but I did enjoy the writing. I enjoyed the world Sutton created with the fairy court, the Sealy court. We follow Fortuna. In the beginning, she's kidnapped by goblins. She's been trying to find her brother for 2 years because he's gone missing, and we very shortly see her in our realm where she's interacting with people she worked with and everything before, and then we see her in the Unsilly Court, which is like underground. We see her as she finds her footing in that court and becomes queen. Well, she goes through trials to become queen, and by the end she does become queen, and we find out that there's stuff going on that she doesn't know. There's some lies going on, and she finds out she has to work with the opposite, the kind of enemy kingdom king who she's been talking to the whole time and no one can see him. So I also finished Unbelievable book 4 in the Pretty Little Liars series by Sarah Shepard. I gave this 3 stars. It's an okay read. It's mindless reading. This was the mindless audiobook. There's some unbelievable stuff that happens in these books, and in this one we do, I think each 4 books or something is like, there's a different A, unlike the TV show. We find out who A is in the first 4 books, and it just seems very petty for why things are going on, and like no one knows the full story of what's going on. I also finished Burned by Jeffrey Devers, and this was okay. It was just a kind of like a mystery thriller where we have someone get kidnapped, possibly killed. I'm not quite sure what happens to him, and the media getting involved and trying to find out who's done it. So that's all I finished. I'm still reading Irish Fairy and Folk Tales. I'm only on page 68. Hopefully I can get some more of this read this week, and I don't have to worry about too much this weekend, but I want to kind of get this finished before the end of March, so I have about a week left. I also picked up What About Will? That's my before bed read. It's just about, I have 80 pages into it. This is following a boy about 12 years old, I would say, as he deals with his brother's, kind of what happens after his brother has a very bad football accident, and how you kind of, even from the first 8 pages, you can tell he's trying to hold his family together and it's falling apart around him, and he doesn't know what to do. And honestly, it shouldn't be up to a 12-year-old to keep the family together. He's trying not to ruffle feathers with anyone. He's trying to make everyone happy. His parents aren't really together, but he wants them back together. His mom's taken off to be on the road because she's a part of a band. His dad's always working. His brother's MIA, kind of. He's changed. His brother's changed. He's done a 180 personality from what the kid grew up with after the accident. So we'll see where this goes and how Hopkins brings it all together. And since that's my before bed, I moved this over to my main read, even though I had read less of this than that. But if you know Ellen Hopkins' writing, you know it's free verse, like poetry, so it's very quick to read. I'm enjoying this. On page 38, so far she's starting to build her cafe, and it does give me that D&D vibe, like you're having to do stuff, and it's like what happens after the adventure, after you slay the dragon, after you defeat the king or queen or whatever, the main plot in those D&D campaigns. This is like, feels like like what they did after their big epic adventure. Like they settle down, or they open up their own shop or whatever. That's what I'm getting from this, and I like it so far. For audiobook, I'm reading Hexu by PC and Kristen Cass. This is the 4 books in the Sister of Salem series, and I really do like it. It picks up right where Omen Bites ends. So we're following Hunter and Mercy as they come back to the mortal realm, and they're trying to save their town from whatever is killing the trees that is guardians from the other realms, as well as dealing with an angry goddess who is trying to spoil their plans to save their town, trying to turn their town against them. For ebook, I'm still reading Blood Mercy and the Unbalanced Equation. Blood Mercy, I'm 72% of the way through. I'm getting closer and closer to the end. I've been reading about a chapter a day, and it's really gripping me now. Like I want to read it more, but I'm still wanting to read the Unbalanced Equation, and they're both good. And seeing the relationships evolve in both of the books are very intriguing to me. Now with Blood Mercy, I don't care so much about the political stuff, so when that comes up, it kind of drags down the book for me a little bit. Whereas with Unbalanced Equation, there's not much that's dragging it down. I'm just slowly reading it, especially since I'm switching between the two. If Blood Mercy takes longer to read, it takes longer for me to get to Unbalanced Equation for it to read the next one, because I've been reading a chapter each, going back and forth. But that said, that's all I have for this video. Now, I will say the library is still a work in progress. As you can see, I don't have the books that goes on this wall yet. So hopefully, because I'm planning on filming hopefully this week, and if not, I'll film on Monday. So with that said, I'll leave a list of all the books mentioned in this video down below, along with my Goodreads and Instagram. But with that said, have a wonderful day. Read what you love. Bye.